Hello and welcome everybody to this session this afternoon. I'm Catherine Wright, and as Hannah said there, I'm the co-lead of Advanced Practice, and Michelle is here as well, who is the co-program lead. Michelle, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a wee bit about your background?
Yep, thank you, Kate. Welcome everyone. As Kate said, I am Michelle Rutherford and I'm a senior lecturer in the Department of Physiotherapy and Paramedicine. For a number of years prior to GCU, I worked out in the NHS here in Scotland and also worked as a community physio team lead prior to joining GCU around 9 years ago. My special areas of interest are in advancing practice, neurological rehabilitation, interprofessional working and psychologically informed practice. I'll hand you back over to Kate to tell us a little bit about herself.
So my background is slightly different. I'm a scientist, a biologist by training, but I've done all of my research really in diabetes, in particular in wound healing in diabetes. And most of my practice has been around liaising between clinicians and university scientists. I've been teaching on advanced practice for a number of years, especially in the diabetes care pathway. So what we're going to be doing in this session is to give you an overview of Glasgow Caledonian, why it's an amazing university and why we'd like you to join us here on Advanced Practice. We're going to tell you a bit more about the different pathways that we offer in Advanced Practice, what the optional modules are that you can undertake. We've got a huge variety of options that you could choose from. And we're going to tell you a bit about the support that you would expect to receive if you joined us as a student. So just to tell you a little bit more about Glasgow Caledonian University. So this is a modern university sitting right in the centre of Glasgow, which makes it a fantastic place to come and study and a great place for us to teach in as well. Now, its origins date back to around 1875 when it was first born as a cookery school. It was called the Dough School back in that time, and it's gone through various incarnations since then. It became a technical college and then became a new university in 1993. And at that time, it was designated as a vibrant new higher education resource for a resurgent city. And so we're one of Scotland's largest modern universities. And we have a big student population here in terms of undergraduate and postgraduate students. So our student population now is around 21,000 students. And that also includes 5,000 international students in Glasgow. So we've got a large international population here. And also in London and our international partnerships as well. So really, we pride ourselves in being a vibrant, innovative and multi-award winning university with a huge amount to offer. Part of our ethos in the university and our motto is that we call ourselves the University for the Common Good. And that really is something that we carry forward in all of our educational and research endeavours. We want to interact with the community, contribute to society in a role that embraces and goes beyond the traditional role of a university. And that means that we interact with our city, with the people around us, and also internationally as well. So that common good ethos underlines everything that we do, and we embrace that in our strategies for education and research, and also in the attitudes that we aim to involve our staff, students and alumni around the world as well. So we pride ourselves in giving an outstanding student experience. As I was saying, the benefit of GCU being right in the centre means that it's great for transport links. You've got the whole city centre around you. You can easily get to any of the accommodation that's nearby, the shopping streets, and all of the really nice parts of Old Glasgow as well. We've got this great learning environment here. So all of our students and staff are from lots of different countries. We're very friendly, and we have a really collegiate sense of community here on campus. We have the award-winning Sir Alex Ferguson Library that has won architectural awards in the past, and it is a really amazing building with lots of different floors on it, allowing us to have areas for socialization. We've got a lovely cafe down there, as well as nice quiet areas, pods that you can work in, small groups, and it's a really great place to support your learning. We've had various awards recently. So GCU had its campus redesigned a few years ago, got a lot more green spaces than we used to before. And we have eco awards such as the Cycle Friendly Campus Award from Cycling Scotland. And we've got various LEAF awards as well. We're actually now the #1 UK performing modern university in the Daily Mail University Guide, which is an amazing achievement. And we are in the top 50 of universities in the UK in both the Guardian and Times guides as well. So we do incredibly well as a modern university, and it's a very well respected institution. And we are the leading university in very many key subjects allied to medicine. So physiotherapy and radiography are #1 in the UK for those subjects. So it's a great place to study and to be. So as well as our campuses that we've got our main campus in Glasgow, but we've also got a sister campus in London as well. And then we've got partner institutions in Oman, Bangladesh, and Africa. And that allows us to extend our global impact, to interact with students all over the world. And that means that we also have those influences coming into the campus here in Glasgow as well. We also partner with the African Leadership College in Mauritius, and we've got partnerships in China, India, South America, and Oman. So we really are a global institution with a wide outreach. Especially within our research community, we have a lot of research collaborations in Europe and a lot of large research projects going on with the EU. And we recognise for our commitment to promote gender equality through the Athena Swan Institutional Bronze Award. So just to tell you a little bit more about the School of Health and Life Sciences, which is where Advanced Practice is based. So within the school, it's a large school that has 8 academic departments in it, which means that we have a large variety of people that work in the departments, can interact with each other and share knowledge and experience. So we have a lot of departments that work in health, but we've also got biological, biomedical sciences. And within the school, we've got around 5,000 students and around 300 academic and support staff. And we've got a whole range of undergraduate and postgraduate programs to offer. And just in terms of health research, we feel that this really underpins our educational offerings as well. So many or even most of the lecturers that will be teaching on your courses have some research experience or are current researchers, and we do incredibly well in what's called the REF, so the Research Excellence Framework. And in 2021, this found that 91% of GCU's health research was either in the world leading or internationally excellent rankings. And the impact of our research, so the way in which it influences health, was only surpassed by King's College London. So we're incredibly proud of our research, and that really helps to underpin our education. And I'm going to pass you back to Michelle now.
Okay, thank you, Kate. I've got a final bit of information on our research and what we're seeking to achieve before we move on to our programme pathways. As Kate mentioned there, we do very well in the research that we do, and it is recognised globally. But the key focus of that research is to address key health and social care priorities, both at home here in Scotland and the UK and globally. It is high quality research. It's often multidisciplinary research, incorporating a whole range of different allied health professions, nurses, doctors, life scientists, social scientists, a whole range of people that you can see here on the screen. And we pride ourselves in our local, national and international collaborations. And the overall purpose is, as Kate said, for the common good, to improve health and well-being of local, national and global communities. So we're both very proud to work here at GCU. Moving on then specifically to advanced practice, I'm sure that you're all keen to find out about this because I know that you have applied for our programme here. So we have a number of different pathways as part of our advanced practice programme. So I'm going to take some time now to go through each of the different pathways, and we will also talk through some of the optional modules that are available too. So first of all, we'll start with the general advanced practice pathway. And our students on this pathway have two mandatory modules, and those are advanced research methods and dissertation. But in the middle, you would also have the option to take 90 credits of optional modules. So this pathway has the most kind of open approach. There is the most flexibility here to select the different modules you would like to undertake and build your programme to your own needs or the needs of your employer. So advanced research methods and dissertation and 90 credits of optional modules. Our advanced practice musculoskeletal health is our next pathway. And again, you'll see advanced research methods is required. This is a mandatory requirement across all of our post-registration programmes at GCU. So everyone must undertake advanced research methods. But in addition to this module, on the musculoskeletal health pathway, you will also be required to undertake the human movement and musculoskeletal analysis module. But you will also have up to 60 credits of optional modules you can undertake, and then your dissertation. And the dissertation module should also have a musculoskeletal focus in order to get this exit award. So advanced research methods, human movement and MSK analysis, 60 credits of optional modules, and then dissertation. And that is the MSK Health Award. Our next specialised pathway is our diabetes care pathway, and this has, you can see on the screen, a few more mandatory modules that are required to gain this exit award. First of all is advanced research methods, as we discussed before, but you would then move on to undertake diabetes care, a multi-professional approach, pathophysiology and chronic complications of diabetes, lower limb and foot in diabetes, evaluation of risk, and nutrition and lifestyle management of diabetes. And there's a further 15 credit work-based advanced skills module too. But in addition to that, you will still have, there's a little bit of flexibility built in here that allows you to take one optional module of 15 credits. But this is a slightly more set pathway in order to gain the Specialist Award of Diabetes Care. We have two further pathways available, and these relate to expedition and wilderness medicine and travel medicine. And these pathways are specific for those who have already undertaken the International Diploma in Expedition and Wilderness Medicine at the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons in Glasgow, or the relevant Travel Medicine Diploma. And these students will join us after completing their diploma at the Royal College and undertake the dissertation module to exit with the bracketed award of Expedition and Wilderness Medicine. And as I mentioned, we also have the travel medicine version, where students who've undertaken the travel medicine postgraduate diploma at the Royal College can join us, undertake dissertation and exit with the travel medicine pathway. So that is the range of options that we have and what is required to get each of the pathways on your exit award. I've mentioned for almost all of the pathways that there are some optional modules. So I now have a couple of slides of information on the optional modules. I won't maybe go through every single one of these today, but we'll spend a little bit of time just to give you an idea of what is available. For those who are physiotherapists, we have modules such as the Advanced Musculoskeletal Practice module. That might be something for those on the musculoskeletal health pathway. It might be that you would be interested in selecting this. But for physiotherapists also interested in neurological rehabilitation, we have the Advancing Practice in Neurological Rehabilitation module. But many of our modules are suitable for all nurses, paramedics and allied health professionals. There are very few that are profession specific. Most are suitable for a range of health professionals. And it could be that you would like to develop your knowledge and skills in leadership, for example. So we have our Advanced Leadership for Health and Social Care Practitioners module. We have more modules relating to anatomy and physiology, for example, the applied pathophysiology module. As I've already mentioned, we have a range of the diabetes care modules. They're also available as options to others in other pathways. So you can select some of these modules if you would like to add that into your pathway. You don't have to be on the diabetes care pathway for some of these. We've got some global modules such as the infection prevention and control in a global context and our social action approaches in public health. So a whole range of different options there, and very few are profession specific. And the reason that we do this is because we value the education of people in an interprofessional context. So at GCU, you get the opportunity to learn from other professions and from people from all different backgrounds and from countries all across the world. So it's a real strength of our programs that you get the chance to learn from different people and experience different cultures. I've got just some more optional modules here to cover with you, just on some other areas. We have some modules that look at extending your scope and advancing practice in areas such as advanced assessment and management of illness and injury. This has been undertaken by physios and paramedics, nurses, occupational therapists, but it's about working in often what we call first contact areas or branching out into areas like GP surgeries where maybe traditionally physiotherapists might not have worked. It's just one profession, but it's advancing your clinical assessment and management skills when dealing with people who have an illness or an injury. For those interested in the radiography side of things, we have principles of practice in medical ultrasound, and that can be taken alongside general medical ultrasound to advance your knowledge and skills of undertaking diagnostic ultrasound. And we have some more clinically focused acute modules, such as recognition of management of the acutely unwell adult and advanced clinical assessment and decision making in acute and primary care. And last but not least, there's two further modules to explain to you that are relevant for all of our students, and that is the work-based advanced skills and innovative practices module. And this allows you to pick an area of practice that you would like to increase your knowledge and understanding of. So it's very much driven by you and what you want to study. And then you spend time over the trimester putting together a portfolio of evidence to show that you have met your learning objectives set at the start of the module. And last but not least, advancing professional practice is another module relevant to all allied health professionals and doctors, nurses and paramedics, called Advancing Professional Practice. And this is built around about the 4 pillars of practice. I'm sure you may be familiar with these terms, but we use this here in the UK, and the pillars are a clinical pillar, leadership pillar, research pillar, and a leadership pillar. So there are 4 pillars of practice. So the Advancing Professional Practice module Gives you the opportunity to learn about these pillars and reflect on your own knowledge and skills and where you would like to develop in the future. So it's a really nice module to let you consider your current learning and to build upon that learning for the future. So a whole range of options on the programme. I'm going to hand back over to Kate now to have a chat with you about the student support.
Thanks, Michelle. So one of the real benefits of studying at GCU is that you've got a huge range of support to you. They are from multiple sources, so not just your tutors on the courses who pride themselves in being really approachable for you to interact with them as much as you can and ask them any questions that you have as you go along in your modules. But also we've got things like the Learning Development Centre, which is a brilliant resource. We have people there that are to guide you in various aspects of your learning and your development. So things like academic writing, critical writing, referencing, procrastination, motivation, all those sorts of general ways in which you might need support for starting back writing essays. You might have not written something like that for a long time, for example. There are specific workshops that are available to you to be able to gain new skills, refresh your skills, and there's also one-to-one support if you would like that as well. So they are really lovely tutors there, and I'm happy to help you with any sort of aspects of your development that you would like to do during your student journey. We also have a brilliant library team who are very on hand and available to help you as well. So they can help with things like academic literature and literature searching. Again, there are workshops that you can undertake for that to refresh your research skills. There are also one-to-one drop-ins with the library team as well. And the library itself, as I was talking about before, is a brilliant workspace. It's open 7 days a week. I think there are parts of it which are open 24 hours a day as well. So it's all there for you all the time. There are different areas where you can work, quiet areas, areas where you can interact with other students as well. And there's always somebody on hand to assist you. There are a huge range of materials in there that you can access either online, or there are traditional books on shelves as well. And we've got a lot of technology in the library to allow you to access your courses or anything else that you need to do in terms of maybe writing your essays or doing any of the other work that you need to do for your modules. So you can contact your librarian specifically. We've got librarians that are specific for the School of Health and Life Sciences, and they're always very, very helpful. So that's all there to support you with your work. And as I was saying, the module teams themselves are really approachable, friendly, experts in their field, and really want to encourage you to ask questions as you're going along in your module, and to make sure that you've understood the material, and just generally discuss the areas that we're covering as well, the modules. Your well-being is really important to us, and so we have a GCU wellbeing team to support you if there are any problems that you're having either inside the university or outside the university. And as well as that, the Students' Association is also there for support, but it also offers lots of other supports in terms of things like accommodation, or runs lots of the clubs and societies that you are welcome to join. There's a huge amount of clubs and societies available, all sorts of topics, to tennis, to choirs, to any sport that you can mention. They do outings to go and see various areas in Scotland and walk up a mountain, all sorts of things that you can get involved with. And they're there to use as much or as little as you would like. Of course, your programme team, Michelle and I are here to support you in any which way we can. And we kind of cover all of the modules in the different pathways that we run. So we're the sort of umbrella part of that. And then you also have a personal tutor that's assigned to you, and your personal tutor is there to help you with anything specific that you might come across that you need a bit of assistance with, to help with your well-being as well. If you have any sort of struggles, they're the person that you might go to for a little bit of advice before potentially going to see the wellbeing team as well. But your personal tutor is there specifically for you to support you in your learning journey, sorry. And that is pretty much the end of our presentation. And at this point, I just want to check with Michelle, is there anything else that we needed to cover, or are we okay to go on for questions?
No, I think that's everything we wanted to cover. I can respond while people are thinking of any questions. Please post them in the chat. There have been a couple of questions in the chat, one relating to kind of various pathways, but hopefully I have answered that throughout the presentation. But please, on the next slide, we have our email address if anybody has any questions following the session. Sorry, Kate, I think we both pressed it at the same time. Then we can give you some guidance on what modules you might like to undertake, or have a chat with you about where you are in your career or what might be useful for you. So in terms of modules, we can answer those questions directly one-to-one with you. But another question has been asked, and it is asked quite often, and that's about registration with the Health and Care Professions Council, the HCPC here in the UK. So all health and care professions in the UK should be registered with the HCPC. So the Advanced Practice programme, because it is for people who are already qualified healthcare professionals, it isn't a pre-registration programme. It doesn't lead directly to HCPC registration. However, we hold information sessions each year as part of one of our other post-registration programmes, such as our Advanced Physiotherapy Practice programme or our Diagnostic Imaging programme. We have a number of international students on Advanced Practice, Advanced Physio Practice and Diagnostic Imaging. So we hold a professional development series of lectures each year. And one of those lectures is on applying for HCPC registration. So we talk you through the stages of the application form and give you some guidance on what you should put into that form. We must be quite clear that we don't work for the HCPC and we can't guarantee HCPC registration. However, a number of our students every year are successful in achieving HCPC registration. And that is largely based on your undergraduate or entry level course, depending what health profession you're in. As part of your undergraduate course, you will have done a number of clinical hours in a number of different areas. And usually that is enough to get you your HCPC registration in the UK. It is helped by the fact that you will be undertaking a master's level programme here in the UK as well, but it is largely based on your previous studies. But we do have that session, as I mentioned, to help you to fill in your application form. And we also have a number of staff that have come to the UK for studies and enjoyed it so much they stayed here and became lecturers with us, but they have themselves gone through the HCPC process as an international student. So we have people firsthand who have had to go through that process and can give you a little bit of guidance along those lines. I hope that answers your question about HCPC. Have a look.
There was a question there about from Kylim. Thank you very much for your question. It was about the Advanced Practice musculoskeletal health route and which optional modules are available to choose from that won't clash with the core modules.
Okay, so let me think about this. In the first trimester, because you would start in September, you would be undertaking the Advanced Research Methods module, which runs on a Tuesday. And that then leaves a range of modules open to you. There are very few that clash, and we usually can work round about that for you. But we can look at that. If you wanted to get in touch, we can talk through. If you let us know what modules you'd be interested in, I can let you know what days the modules run. It occasionally happens that there's a clash, but we can usually work round about it. In trimester B, that is when you would undertake the human movement and musculoskeletal analysis module. And again, we have a range of modules that run on other days, so there would be no clash in trimester B, but we can, if you let us know the modules you may be interested in, I can get back to you with specific days that they run. But it's unusual for the modules to clash. And really, the only modules that may not be open to you, it depends where you are in the world, are modules such as prescribing, because you have to be in a work environment where you've got a registered prescriber, someone who is a registered prescriber in the UK, because they have to observe your practice and sign you off as competent. So if you're not currently working in the UK and have the opportunity to be supervised by a UK-based prescriber, then prescribing isn't something you'd be able to do. But the majority of the modules are open to all of our students.
There was one other question there about travel medicine, the travel medicine option. So that was about during application, will team agree on certain formats of the research proposal?
So what would happen for the travel medicine route? As you know, you will have your postgraduate diploma already, and then you join the programme. So as part of the dissertation module, you will be assigned a supervisor, and you will get the opportunity to speak to your supervisor about your research. If you would like some guidance, you can get in touch with us on the email address on the screen, Fayez, on mscape@gcu.ac.uk. And if you've got any specific questions about your research proposal, you can let us know. But the dissertation module is where you would undertake your research or undertake your structured literature review. You don't have to generate a research proposal. If you have one from your previous research studies at the Royal College, then that's great. You can bring that information with you, and that can help you with your dissertation. But the dissertation module is where you actually start applying that information. But I'm sure Kate and I would be happy to answer a question round about your research proposal if you need a little bit of guidance, but it's not essential. You don't need to bring your proposal into the dissertation. But we could speak directly to you. But if you email us on the mailbox on the screen, we could explore that point in greater detail with you. You're very welcome.
Great.
So Sai, in the question and answer box, has asked a question that they're a physiotherapist and they've applied for the MSK Health programme and just wondering what career aspects or options might be available in the future. So that it depends what you would like to do with it. Obviously, because you're a qualified physiotherapist, you could gain registration here in the UK with the HCPC, and that would then allow you to apply for a range of roles within the NHS or within the private sector here in the UK. If you've got a specialist interest in musculoskeletal, then there are static musculoskeletal posts that you can apply for, again, either within the NHS or within private practice, rather than what we would call here a rotational post, where you move around different departments every 4 to 6 months. So by gaining HCPC registration, that would open up doors to you in terms of working as a registered physio here in the UK. But there may be opportunities to move into education, into further research, Scottish government roles or UK government roles, health promotion roles, public health. It really just depends what you would like to do. But your master's level education, because it spans those 4 pillars of practice that I mentioned, is really valued here, and you could really use it to evidence whichever route you would like to go down, whether it's a specialist clinical role or a research role. I mean, several of our students each year do plan to progress on to PhD studies or professional doctorate studies. So there's lots of different options, but having a master's specifically built round about the 4 pillars of practice is really advantageous in terms of, you know, moving on to different roles. I hope that helps.
Thanks so much, Michelle. I'm just jumping in because I've also answered a couple of questions just in the Q&A that are more related to general GCU queries. So there was one in there about English language requirements, but also one on just fees and funding and how to pay in installments and things. So there's a couple of kind of useful links in the Q&A if you're interested in that. Has anyone got any further questions for Michelle and Kate? Oh, I wonder if there's another one in the Q&A. Oh no, just a thank you. Okay, that's great.
But as we've said a few times throughout this session today, because this is quite a potentially bespoke journey for you, because there's lots of pathways and there's lots of people from different backgrounds, different professions. Sometimes it is easier to have a one-to-one chat via email or via Teams if we have to. We're absolutely happy to speak to you directly as well. But we can answer individual questions about your own particular journey or professional development through our email, if that makes it easier for everyone, because we know it's very specific to the person and the future. So Sai's asked a question here about how many credits in MSc. So for the MSc Health pathway, the focus of your advanced research methods module should also have an MSc focus. So for the advanced research methods module, you are required to construct a research proposal. That's the final assessment. So you learn all about research overall, but you also create your own research proposal in an area you're interested in investigating. And we hope that you then take that forward to dissertation and actually undertake the project as part of dissertation. So we would ask for the musculoskeletal health pathway that your research methods proposal is also focusing on MSK. So that will give you 30 credits there. You're going to undertake the 30 credit human movement and musculoskeletal analysis module, so that's 60. And the dissertation module should also have an MSK focus, so that's another 60. So you've got at least 120 credits of MSK. However, I'm sure you'll have seen from the optional module list, there's another module called Advancing Practice in MSK, or Advancing MSK Practice even, too many modules to remember. That would give you another 30 credits. That's a very clinically focused module. I think it's looking at the spine, specifically focusing on musculoskeletal management of spinal issues, injuries and illness. And which would then leave just one further 30 credit module. So you may want to do something along the lines of maybe pathophysiology, you might want to do a leadership module, which again is, I think, very useful here because leadership is one of the pillars of practice here in the UK. So you potentially could have 150 credits that have specifically focused on MSK in one further option. But again, you could undertake the work-based learning module and focus on a specific element of musculoskeletal practice, which would mean you could construct the full 180 credits with an MSK focus. So plenty potential there.
There was one more question that's just come up about accepting Indian English higher secondary marks as part of admissions requirements. I think that we now base our admissions on the IELTS system. So that might be one of the things that admissions would look at, but you would have to have an IELTS of 7 or above now to be able to join us. So you'd have to have that test complete and be able to include that as part of your application.
And there's another question about a conditional letter. So I don't know, Hannah, maybe if you could help us out with those questions about English language and about the conditional letter.
Yep, of course. So as Kate said, Kate, you're spot on. So We do accept Indian English higher secondary marks, but it's only for certain programs where the IELTS requirement equivalency is 6. And for this program, as Kate says, there is a kind of minimum requirement of I think it is 7, isn't it, Kate? And it's, you know, no element less than 6.5. So unfortunately, that English equivalency wouldn't be accepted. So I've included a link to our English requirements from the website that will give you further information on all of our different English equivalencies and ones that may be more suitable. But as Kate says, IELTS is the most kind of standardised route if you want to ensure your progression onto the programme. And just, Sai, in terms of your question, if you've submitted your application in full, I can go and have a look into the status of your application in terms of what's outstanding in terms of getting a conditional offer to you. So let me take that offline and I'll keep a note of your name, and obviously we'll have your contact details if they're in the system, and we'll be able to follow up with you hopefully as soon as possible. Hope that helps.
Thank you very much, Hannah.
No problem at all. So I think, are there any last questions for Michelle and Kate? Obviously very conscious as well that you've got the email address there. So if there's any bespoke questions or you want to talk about your journey, as they've both said, then you are more than welcome to go down that route. I think that may be us.